going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boy, oh boy, we got some more leaked information about Black Ops 7, and the community, for some strange reason, is going absolutely berserk. I don't understand, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. To me personally, this just proves exactly why Call of Duty is able to do what Call of Duty does on a year-to-year basis, and it also proves why the heads over at Activision say the franchise is too big to fail for reasons exactly like this. But ladies and gentlemen, to go ahead and begin, if you guys haven't heard already from the Ghost of Hope, apparently no doors are going to be in Black Ops 7. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that correctly. That is the big hype point right now, guys. You know what I'm saying? Not, trying to reduce skill-based matchmaking, not giving us better servers, none of the really important factors, but they are removing doors. Whoa! Oh my goodness, guys, we're so back. COD is back. We have no more doors on any of the maps. This is it. That's basically how the Call of Duty community is reacting, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong. That's a step in the right direction. But as I always say, the COD franchise is on a downward spiral right now, not because of doors and doors alone, That is don't get me wrong, that is a quality of life feature that I would love to see rearranged. But that alone is not going to make a good Call of Duty game. Removing a door is not going to make, all of the other massively horrible problems just magically disappear. What are you guys going to do when there's no doors, but the skill-based matchmaking is still ramped up and putting you in the highest ranked lobbies for absolutely no reason? It's not going to change anything. It's absolutely not going to change anything, but the community is hype. They are turning up about this information. And, oh my goodness, I actually saw another thing as well. As you guys can see right here from Charlie Intel, Black Ops 7 will reportedly have 3 Black Ops 2 maps at launch: Hijacked, Express, and Raid. And again, this was leaked by the Ghost of Hope. And, personally, I thought the community was going to look at this and say, okay, we've already had all this stuff a million times over. Let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, where are the rest of the Black Ops 2 maps? There's so much variety in Black Ops 2 that it's almost insulting that they refuse to go ahead and expand upon it. Even when it comes down to Black Ops 1, we just got WMD again within Black Ops 6. Again! Do you know how many good maps are in Black Ops 1 that are being just untouched? But we got WMD reskin for the 50,000, and again, people eat it up. We are allowing this, not the development team, because it's not up to the development team, I feel. It's definitely Activision, but we're allowing them to go ahead and, give us this abuse. It's one of the main reasons why Vince Zampella got the heck out of, Infinity Ward Studios and started doing his own thing, because that's exactly what was going on. Around that time, Activision was starting to push for that, okay, we don't need to actually have big jumps in innovation. We could start, just copy and paste and do that again and again and again and again. We don't need any creativity. We don't need to do anything spicy to bring people back. We have built a formula that can be copy and pasted, a trillion times and make us absolute bank. And, pretty much all the developers who are passionate about COD, who love the franchise, who wanted to see it thrive and wanted to continue to be creative with it, they left. They just straight up got up and left. They didn't want to deal with it anymore because that crap is insulting. But ladies and gentlemen, just for an example, map-wise, when it comes to Black Ops 2, again, we're getting all the same crap that we've seen a trillion times over. But, what about Yemen, for example? What about that map? What about Plaza, or Cargo, or Carrier, or Overflow? Shoot, I'd even take Aftermath at this point. I despise the Aftermath in BO2, but I would even take that just to see something fresh for once in my life within this franchise. I don't know what they're holding off on. I don't know if they're, holding these maps because they're planning on remastering these games at some point in an emergency situation. I don't know what it is. But it might just be me, but I'm tired of seeing the same thing over and over. It's either, again, Raid, Slums, Express, Hijacked, or even Standoff. Nothing more, and Grind as well. I can't forget about Grind. What about the other DLC maps, though? What about Magma? There's so many cool maps within Black Ops 2 that just won't get touched upon. Shoot, I just saw another one. Meltdown. I loved Meltdown. Where are these maps? Why do we keep getting the same thing over and over again? I mean, well, you know what? I keep saying, why are we getting these things? But I already answered that. Because the community eats it up. Even under the comms section, I've seen people like Tom Henderson under the post that Charlie Intel put out saying, COD really is in a Control plus C, Control plus V era. It's true, though. That's literally true. That is their bread and butter right now. There's, multiple different things that could cause this. One of them being, my biggest complaint. The fact that Call of Duty is on a yearly cycle instead of allowing them to have 2 to 3 years with one title out to allow the developers to, have a little time and also making the game fresh to their overall audience. That's one of the biggest reasons. But the biggest of the reasons is exactly as I stated 1,000 times over. Activision knows they are allowed to do so. Like I literally just said, Vince Zampella and a lot of the GOATs left the studio because of exactly what Tom Henderson said. COD really is in a Control plus C, Control plus V era. And, a lot of the devs did not want to stick around with it. And I gotta be honest, I'm so thankful that David Vonderhaar stuck around for the time that he did. Because I'm sure he was getting sick and tired of it as well. I'm sure he had to fight a lot to be able to have some creative freedom. But he's out. I mean, he doesn't even want to bother with the Call of Duty franchise anymore. And can you blame him? He's been through the trenches. I'm talking about Vince Zampella. He left at Modern Warfare 2. David Vaughn has been here for a long time. He had to really go through the trenches with Activision. And I'm sure his creativity is absolutely burnt when it comes to this franchise because they just simply aren't allowed to go ahead and step out of their comfort zones. I can only imagine how many times any of these developers wanted to actually remaster some new, unique maps from the past. David Vaughn was a part of all those games that put together those banging maps from World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. I'm sure there's so much variety he wants to push out, but instead Activision says, okay, Nuketown. Nuketown again. Oh, Nuketown here. Oh, can't forget Raid. We gotta get Raid up in here. Oh, Express. Let's do Express. That's all they want. And as I stated, as a developer, I can only imagine how boring that becomes. But as I stated, the COD community, it's just embarrassing at this point. As I stated, Charlie Intel put out that tweet talking about all the maps coming into the rotation. Hijacked, Express, and Raid. And as I stated, you would think that people would be like, okay, more remastered content. This is, who cares? We want to see these developers get creative. We want to see them actually put something, unique together, so on and so forth. We even had Tom Henderson under there, as I stated, with 4,000 likes, saying that this is just a bunch of copy and paste. But the overall tweet from Charlie Intel, as you can see right here, got 46,000 likes. 46,000 likes. Over Hijacked, Express, and Raid in Black Ops 7. I mean, I say it all the time, but the community is the reason this continuously happens. And it will never change until the community decides it's time to change. But as long as they support and push for this type of stuff, we won't get that creativity. It just simply will never happen. I mean, look at every single franchise out there at this point. Battlefield 6, the only reason it's in the current spot that it's in is because of the crap that, the game had to go through previous years. Battlefield 5 was an absolute fail at launch. Battlefield 2042 completely flopped. And guess what? The Battlefield community doesn't keep playing. They don't keep buying. They leave the game. They abandon it. On top of Delta Force coming on through and picking up a lot of, Battlefield players. They had to do something. They couldn't just sit around. They're getting clapped, and guess what? We're getting good changes. Splitgate 2. I personally love the game. I think that it's, a very solid foundation. But apparently it wasn't that good. According to a lot of other people, apparently. I don't know. Like I said, I thought it was pretty decent, but it wasn't good enough. The developers are going back to the drawing board because guess what? The players spoke. They chose with their actions. Overwatch, for example. I don't really play that much Overwatch, but I heard they're going through the trenches. A lot of crap was going on with Overwatch 2. Marvel Rivals comes out, and it, presents a massive competition. And guess what? A lot of things are changing around for the better within Overwatch 2. You know what I'm saying? The community acts in all these other games, but in Call of Duty, they never act. We hear and see the same thing yearly. And yet, when it comes time to the next Call of Duty game coming out, all of the complaints, all of the criticism completely goes out the window, and the hype repeats, and it starts right back again. All I gotta say is that this will never change, ladies and gentlemen. As long as, Activision sees 50,000 likes on posts talking about bringing back Raid for the 50,000th time, there's no reason to do anything different. There's no reason to give us new content or remaster different maps or do anything. When, again, people complain, yet still eat up the same thing again and again and again. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, go down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about all of this stuff. Do you think it's good that we're seeing these maps return in Black Ops 7? Do you think it's kind of lazy? As I stated personally, I think it's lazy. I really do think that Call of Duty is at a point where they genuinely don't have to push that much. And it's why I hope that Battlefield 6 can bring some competition into the scene. I don't think Battlefield 6 will ever dominate COD, obviously. But if it could pull some players away and actually make Call of Duty think a bit, we might actually see better products on the other side. But again, you guys know how it is. COD players will try to bash anything that tries to come up in the scene, the FPS space. They just want their own game to thrive, and again, they'll complain about it at the exact same time. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 morning Eastern Time, and sometimes we even go ahead and double upload at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything between COD, Battlefield, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders. You best believe you'll see it on this channel, so subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, and I'll actually be streaming this Sunday as well as a little oddball stream since Battlefield 6 will be live and active for beta. So, of course, if you guys are interested, I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.